Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to speak a little bit about what's referred to as cobblestoning and or pitting, and what this references, what happens to the skin when you're surgically removing a piece of it and placing it into an opening at the front of your head. Okay, so what you have to keep in mind is that when you have a hair transplant, they're cutting out thousands of pieces of skin. So you're either going to have a strip where they're going to cut out one big chunk and leave you with a scar at the back of your head, and then they're going to cut that up, and then they're going to make openings in the front of your head, or they're going to punch them out from the back with a little punch, like a little core. They're going to core out all these hair follicles, pull them out. Those holes will stay open and they'll heal depending on the size of the punch. The larger the punch, the more apt you are to have scarring, and the size of the punch is going to be it's going to be connected to how skilled the doctor is. Doctors that are not very skilled in the past needed to use a larger punch because what they were finding was they were destroying the graft. They didn't have the skill. It's kind of like a feel to it. And so there are only a handful of doctors that can work with a small punch. In fact, when I did decide to have a repair, this was one of those doctors. It took me 10 years. So that's going to be determined by the size of the punch. But getting back to the frontal area, where they're going to implant all these grafts, this area here. Okay, so what is cobblestoning? You're going to take that follicle and you're going to put it into the slit, or you're going to put it into whatever's been put there, a hole, and you're going to try and make the top of the skin flush with your scalp. This is difficult to do. Not only is it difficult to do, we're talking about thousands and thousands of grafts. So what happens is the integrity of the skin, when it heals, depending, like I say, on the skill of the doctor, and this is the majority of doctors, in my opinion, the integrity of the skin becomes distorted. So it becomes like a cobblestone, like a snake skin. Either way, it's little bumps. And so you're probably thinking, well, if hair is growing, no one's going to see those bumps. Well, the problem is that you can never achieve full density with a hair transplant. It's 50% density. That's the average, maybe less. You might have a few doctors that can get a higher density, but it's not the norm. Hair transplant is see-through. And so what happens is, if you're under lighting that is not just ideal, the skin has kind of a 3D look to it because now you have raised. It's not completely flat, so any shine coming from that light off your scalp, the shine off your scalp, it's all going to be noticeable through see-through hair, and people are gonna they're gonna pause, like I stated in other previous videos, and they're trying to figure out what happened here. Why is the skin like that? Now, you can look at a guy like Joe Rogan, and on camera, his skin looks pretty good. What it looks like in person, I don't know. It's also possible that maybe he had laser done. I don't know, but you would have to see it all in person. It's like, and the same applies to pitting. Pitting is when the graft is placed too deep. Now, instead of a raised area, you have an area that is like concave. And if you have thousands of areas like that, it's very noticeable. It's like someone that has had cystic acne. That scarring doesn't go away. If it didn't heal perfectly flat, their skin is going to be pitted. And yes, there are treatments for that kind of scarring, laser, dermabrasion, but then we start getting into all these procedures that you need to have done, and then how is that going to affect the skin going forward? Is the color going to change? And it just becomes it becomes a giant hole that you keep digging. And so this is something to consider. And there's also a term referred to as rimming, and that's an area at the front of your scalp right here where it becomes a little bit raised. Not much, just a little bit. And it's like a rim. I have that. You can't see it. That's my hair. But in the right light, and depending on my body weight and how much adipose tissue builds up underneath the skin, you can see it, especially in light. It's a rim. Why is the guy got a rim? What's going on there? It's almost like you see these people that have these implants, Teflon implants, body modification. It's exactly like that. Does anybody tell you this? Chances are probably not. And if they do, they gloss over it. But it's real. It's reality. And this is why you have to see it all in person. You have to see actual patients. What is going on here? How bald were you? How many grafts did you have done? And like I said, you want to see guys that have been that are really high Norwoods, because that'll be reality. To see some young kid that had 1,000 grafts when he doesn't have any hair loss, yeah, of course, it looks wonderful, looks great. But what happens down the line? That kid is caught in a trap. It's never ending. Your life goes on, but that anchor is still around your neck. And for a lot of guys, it completely destroys their life. Their whole life revolves around this, what they did, trying to look at Michael Jackson. Like I said, you just get caught up. You're trying to fix it. You're constantly trying to fix it, and it's going to cost you a fortune. It's not cheap. So you know, think long and hard. Like I said, if you have minimal hair loss and you're older, yeah, it can work. You know, you look at a guy like Jordan Peterson, but even then, you know, I look at myself. I had a lot of hair when I was in my 40s. I'm in my 50s now. Different ball game, man. Different ball game. So you got to think about it long and hard. Now I'm going to do some videos on the strip, and I'm going to post a video on my repair. And a lot of guys are going to say, I would never be happy with that type of a result. But coming from where I was at, like I said, this is all reality. It's not marketing. So I'll see you on the next video. Subscribe, hit the bell. I can guarantee you, if marketers watch this video, you know, I leave the comments open. If you see the comments turn really nasty, no one's watching yet. It's a marketer, man. That's how it works. It's the same way, like I said, on the forums. They don't want the truth out there, because then you start thinking, saying, wait a minute, okay, this guy, what he's saying kind of makes sense. Now I'm seeing it. Wait a minute, no one told me this. See you on the next video. Thanks for watching.